All right, guys, so we're not in the lake anymore, and in fact, we've even had a change of seasons. As you can see, we've got a beautiful winter day now in Colorado, but I had some walleyes that we caught trolling in the fall, just like you saw in this show, and I put them in the freezer. Well, now we're gonna go ahead and cook them, and we're gonna make them into fish chowder out here on the new Camp Chef stove. But understand that you can make this out of walleyes or white bass or stripers or whatever else you might have, and it's another excellent dish for getting fish out of your freezer, so keep that in mind as well. Doesn't have to be perfectly fresh fish. We're gonna start off with a 12-inch cast iron Dutch oven here from Camp Chef, and we're going to cook it out here on the Explorer 2 stove. Okay, the first thing we're going to need to cook if we're going to make fish chowder right here is, of course, some sort of pork base to it. And traditional fish chowder from back on the East Coast is made with pork belly or salt pork or bacon, something like that. In my case, I've got some local bacon. I'm just going to cook it over medium heat and let it render down. I want to render a bunch of the fat out of it, but like any other bacon, don't burn it. So we're going to cook it most of the way down, then I'll take the bacon out, use that fat as a flavor base to cook the onions and the rest of the chowder. Take all this out real quick. And we want to use that fat in there. We want to leave the fat that's in there. And then once you take all this out, if there's not enough fat left in there for all your onions, of course, this is where you would put butter. And I don't want to hear anything about olive oil. This is a traditional chowder. All right, and in with the onions. And these are gonna, you can see that pan's good and hot. There's plenty of fat in there. We're gonna put a little bit of thyme in there as well. A infused salt right here. It's got cypress and lemon in it. And of course, we always use fresh ground pepper. Almost anytime you've got a one-pot dish, a couple of bay leaves are a good choice to put in there as well. So here I've got basically what amounts to 3 Yukon Gold potatoes that I gave a coarse chunk to. And so we'll hit those with another quick layer of salt as well. A little bit more pepper in there. This right here is fish stock. I've got maybe 3 cups, something like that. And we'll put that in here and let these potatoes cook down till they're about 3/4 of the way done. I'm also gonna add the rest of my thyme in right here. So we're gonna put about, I guess that's probably 2 full cups of half and half in there. So this has already been simmering now for only about 3 to 5 minutes, and the potatoes are gonna need about 15 minutes. So I turned it down some, and I'm just gonna let it barely simmer enough to cook the potatoes. What you have to be careful of is do not scorch the milk cream or heavy cream that you put in there. In my case, the half and half. So we cooked down some of this bacon in the very beginning, as you saw. So what I'm gonna do now is put a little bit of it, not all of it, but a little bit of it back in here and let it just cook in. And what it's gonna do is release even more flavor into there. And I'm gonna throw in a little bit of flat leaf parsley that I chopped up right here. What I have in here is 2 walleyes in 18-inch range that I filleted. I made sure they were boneless, and then I chunked them into big pieces. All right, guys, so we stirred all the fish in there. So as soon as it comes back to a simmer at all, as soon as we start seeing bubbles, we're gonna go ahead and take it off and put a lid on it. All right, there it is. You can see, guys, just starting to get a couple of bubbles coming in right in here. And again, we don't overcook this walleye. A chowder dish is traditionally finished with just a little bit of butter. So I'm gonna put a small little bit in here, not a lot, just a little bit. All right, guys, fish is stirred in, everything's in. It looks to me like it's totally done at this point. So I'm gonna set the lid on it, and we're gonna take it off the heat altogether, and we're gonna set it over here on the other side and just let it sit there and let the fish basically steam and finish. Okay, guys, so there's a bowl of it all dished up. It looks beautiful right there. I'm gonna put a couple of little flakes of finishing salt on top, just a tiny little bit of finishing salt on top. A little tiny bit of flat leaf parsley that we chopped up on there. And of course, some of these little bacon bits, you gotta have some of those. We're gonna put a few of those on top as well. And then you gotta have a couple of oyster crackers if you're gonna have a chowder. So we'll do a couple of oyster crackers on there. And guys, there you have it. That is our walleye fish chowder. You can do it with any fish you might have. So hopefully you've enjoyed today's show. We've had a great time making it. Walleye fishing is a lot of fun, whether you troll or you cast, however you want to go about it. Evening time is the right time to catch walleyes. If you want more information on the stove or the recipe or anything else, fishfulthinker.com. You can get information on the stove specifically at campchef.com. And of course, you can purchase one at Sportsman's Warehouse. So we appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you'll make some chowder of your own. Most importantly, we hope that you'll check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or you'll tune in and see what we're up to, and we'll see you next week.